Bagaitsu madume gafeli. You're still watching Mzansi Fundis. Show ya how where we talk about anything and everything that has to do with Diski, ya Momo Mzansi le Africa. Well, I do have the pleasure of having these two gentlemen from our sister show came on. And yeah, Sizwe Mabena and Mark Heskins. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Mark, it's not your first time, no?
No, it's not my first time. I love being here. I love being here.
Regular.
I take exception to that already. Is he the new guy?
No, we had to squeeze in very fast.
Sure.
So, Mark, let me start with you, man. I mean, our conversation is about Chen. And we look at the tournament, how it's been happening. Your overall view of the tournament so far?
I think it's been great. You know, anytime you get to represent your nation, doesn't matter what level. I remember playing in this team. We were called Amabena Plus.
Amabena Plus, yes.
Whatever the case may be.
How did that name sit with you?
Nah, I don't care.
Really?
I couldn't be bothered. I'm playing for my country. Whether anyone regards it as lesser than, you know, Bafana, whatever, I couldn't be bothered. Me, I'm representing my country. And that's what you can see, the pride that everyone is playing with. I absolutely love it.
He's talking about the pride, and that is, I want to look at the fact that it seems like every other nation has the pride of being part of this conversation. I'm talking about their coaches being the actual head coaches of the teams that they coach. Except ours, we've made a makeshift.
Well, it's nothing new from a South African point of view. You see it in the COSAFA as well. Zambia in the COSAFA as well. Avram Grant usually sits up there in the stands and watches on. So it's nothing new. But also you have to look at how you qualified and how we qualified. Really, you just keep it going.
We're literally forced to play in this tournament.
You know what I mean? But I don't think it's a big problem. The whole thing about it, like Mark says, everybody wants to represent. Everyone wants to do well. And from what we've seen so far, I think the most important thing is you got to remember, you want to rub off from what you see in your national team qualifying, your national team doing well, which South Africa is in AFCON qualifiers and World Cup qualifiers. So that'll rub off to the 10 team as well, to a point where they're saying, look, we also want to do well. So I don't think it's a huge problem. For those that have struggled with qualifying for those other two major tournaments, that maybe even the hosts, your Ugandas, your Kenyans, they'll want to do well here to say, look, even the future's bright beyond that. So there's a chance to say, look, our future's looking good.
No, 100%. And now he's talking about the players, for Mark, he's talking about the players that would want to do well. And I mean, you've been one of those players that wanted to do well. Taking into consideration the fact that these players are unattached, looking at our squad, we're seeing a lot of players raising their hand. I mean, I'm talking about Billy raising his hand, Kutumela.
Yeah, certainly. The thing is, with unattached players, you playing in a global, like, make no mistake about it, there's global eyes on this tournament. There's scouts from all over the world watching this tournament. If I'm a scout out in Europe or wherever the case may be, and there are players who are unattached, that's prime commodity because I can get that player free. And there's a lot of free players out there. And that's why I think a lot of them, you know, they possibly could have committed to clubs before going to this tournament. But they've said, okay, no, let's just play the tournament and let's see what happens. Because imagine, you know, one of the players who are shining, I mean, Kutumela is doing beautifully. They played brilliantly for South Africa. Imagine someone just comes up and says, hey, I need this kind of player. I maybe got an injury in that position. Someone just a quick fill the gap. Anything can happen. That's the nature of football.
Also, the timing of the tournament is quite nice for unattached players. If I've just left a club and this tournament starts now while the transfer window is open, the timing is perfect for me to want to shine. So it's further inspiration. I mean, we got 15 players, I think, in South Africa in our squad. No, I think more or less 15 or 14 or so that are unattached.
It's a great thing
further inspiration for the coach. Look, do well for your country and sell yourself.
Unattached players, though, the window doesn't affect them because you're a free agent.
Yes,
so
and that as well.
The window doesn't affect you.
But Mark, doesn't the thought of having an injury run in your mind as a player that's unattached?
No. Not at all. Ultimately, if you go in with that mindset, I always say, if you think about, the mind is such a powerful thing. You can draw things to you. So they can't even be thinking about that. You're going out there and you're putting on a show. You are literally showcasing yourself.
I mean, I remember Lepasa saying, I can't wait to get back onto the field of play.
Exactly, that's what it's about.
Two things. Either you're thinking about getting injured or getting a job.
Exactly.
Which one is more important? All right, gentlemen, I want us to now have a look at, because we're talking about South Africa and how well South Africa has done in this tournament, but there's a certain bench that is South African personnel, and that is the Kenyan bench. We saw when the tournament started, there was just a lot of hype around it. You know, he's brought a lot of spotlight, and that is Benny McCarthy. Sizwe, what has this gentleman done for the national team at large?
He came in talking big, eh? when he arrived in Kenya.
But
He said the right thing.
But that's Benny.
That's the right thing.
Does Benny, you know what sets Benny apart? Benny's got supreme confidence.
That's what I'm saying.
Benny's got confidence.
And it rubs off. It rubs off. He came in talking qualifying for World Cups and doing well and taking Kenyans to where they want to be. One. I think it rubbed off in the country, gets them excited, new coach, maybe new beginning. Things may not be that easy in World Cup and AFCON qualifiers, but here's a perfect start to when you're hosting a tournament.
Yeah.
To galvanize the country and maybe work a way forward. When you look at the results as well, I mean, beating DR Congo, former champions, drawing against Angola, especially this current generation of Angolan team that's doing so well in COSAFA and dominating over the last couple of years, and also Morocco as well.
The former champions.
Yeah. So I think for Benny, it's a great start, and this is where maybe he wants to kick off and see it rub off in other tournaments.
Make no mistake about it, Morocco are the front runners in African football. If you look at what they do in all spaces, the men's team, semi-final of a World Cup, the Olympic team, semi-final of the Olympics, under 17s were champions of AFCON, under 20s, finalists at AFCON, the women's team. Finalists. Morocco, it's no mean feat. You beat Morocco, you've done.
And there are many that say, watch this current young generation of Angolan teams as well, in the way of Angola coming back to being amongst the best. If you're beating them as well, I think the way they've dominated COSAFA, and hands down over the last 2 years, they've dominated COSAFA. No one's come close. You're doing very well if you're Benny.
Let's look at now what's happening with the other hosts, because I'm looking at Tanzania, and they've qualified. The first team, to have qualified.
The best thing about, I think, these sort of tournaments is it reminds us about what's happening in your local leagues. Right? Over the years, we've seen Ghana fall off. We've seen Nigeria fall off. From a league's point of view, in competing with the Champions League, in the CAF Confederations Cup as well. We've seen Tanzania shoot up, however. So Tanzania, in terms of doing well, is rubbing off on the national team. So it's no.
They're also doing well even in the continental competition.
Exactly. So it's no surprise to see them on the up and up in the international scene as well.
Yes, I mean, you look at your Youngas and Simba making the final of the Confed Cup last year. So definitely they're reaping the rewards of their league getting stronger and stronger. Their league even attracting a lot of international players, and so definitely they, first team to qualify from the group, so they already booked their spots in the next phase, and so they can even just kind of manage the bulk of the tournament.
I want us to now have a look at what's going to be happening. I mean, the fixtures that are left for these countries, but I want us to start at home here with South Africa. We're taking on Niger next. A comfortable win that we had in the previous match, but Niger should be a tricky customer.
I wouldn't say a comfortable win against Guinea. I mean, that 2-1 result, there were times where it looked like, okay, we're going to have to really dig deep. I think they did exceptionally well to get the result in the end. And it's testament to, obviously you have to say well done to Coach Molefe Nteki there as well. And the players, the leaders on the pitch stepping up. You want that when your senior players step up and do the business. So there is no easy game. I've always said Africa as a continent, whether it's World Cup qualifiers, AFCON qualifiers, is the most difficult continent or the most difficult confederation to qualify for anything. Or even when you're playing a continental tournament, it's the most difficult because the gap is so small between the various nations. And so even against Niger, it's going to be a tough ask. But again, it's going to come down to how much they want it.
I also think there's a plus here, mentally maybe going into the game. Niger haven't scored. They haven't won. The fact that they're struggling to just score goals means we're going in there a bit more confident. They haven't won. We've had maybe tougher fixtures. This should be possibly the easiest game in the group, which you can't say it's but I'm expecting 3 points out of this one, especially in light of what's happening after this particular game.
All right. Unfortunately, time only allows us to have a conversation this far. That's all we have for this segment. Do make sure that you stay with Mzansi Fundis. On the other side, we're going to be carrying on with the conversation as we unpack it further. Make sure you stay with us.